Today, I want to talk about something that really doesn't always get the spotlight when we think about health and mindset recovery. This is overlooked oftentimes, like a lot of things, quite frankly, and that is community. So you hear things like, you are the sum of the five people around you, those kinds of things. And, there's some truth to that. It comes off as cliche, but it's more than just the five people you're around. It is more about the community of people who you put yourself around all the time in specific ways. That can make all the difference between just staying stuck in the same cycle of the kinds of struggles that you're dealing with. And this really translates to all aspects of life, but I want to, as usual, focus on like the health, the wellness kind of areas, right? But it makes the difference between staying stuck in those cycles or breaking free of them and really building the life, the body, the health, personally, professionally, the life that you want, right? So if you've ever felt like you are not strong enough on your own to push through, whether it's the stress of work, it has something to do with challenges that you're dealing with, in a family kind of way. Maybe it's around your own self-doubt. The thing is, you're not alone. I mean, we are not good as women. When I say we, I mean, women over 40 in particular, we're not good at reaching out for help, admitting that we need help. But it is vital for us to have the right kinds of support in place. That can be the key to actually achieving real success. And so today I want to dive into like why a positive, empowering group of women in particular can make a huge difference in your life and talk a little bit about how it can help you really avoid the kind of traps, I'll call them traps, of not being enough, right? Because when we work together, it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to live this life as an over 40, over 50 female in a successful, happy way. And when we put the right village, the right community together, everything in life changes. Literally everything. That is not hyperbole, that is reality. So let's be honest. Many of us are used to carrying everything on our shoulders, right? The stress of work, keeping your house running, keeping the schedules, your family schedules on time, carrying everything on our shoulders, managing relationships, personal relationships, professional relationships, being on top of like everything, and trying to take care of ourselves too, which most of the time that's the part that gets sloughed off the list, and it's exhausting. When you feel like you're falling short, it's easy to stay in this cycle of, like I said, either taking yourself off of the to-do list completely, getting stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, getting stuck in a negativity sort of cycle. It's easy, but here's the thing. We were never meant to do it all, and we were never meant to do it all alone, for damn sure. So think about it. When you're trying to make a big change, okay, whether it is improving your mindset, making a big change at work, maybe it is, as a leader, implementing, a big new project, whether it's trying to lose weight, whatever the big change is, just getting through a tough week, a tough day, doesn't it feel harder when you are the only one who is focused on the change, who is, um, you're the only cheerleader for what's happening? When you're alone, it's difficult. I remember working, before I retired at the university, I remember saying, oftentimes, I said, I feel like I'm the only one like banging my head on the wall for this cause, right? Whether it was when I was graduate professor and director of first year comp at different universities, and I was really focused on the first year of college student experience. I felt like I was alone in being the voice for those students because everybody else had all these different, they had all these different causes they wanted to, whether it was graduate programs or, whatever. When I was vice president at a large community college here in the Dallas area, I often felt that I was the only champion for a lot of causes, and there are a lot of different reasons for that. But it feels so much harder when you feel like you are the only one championing change. That's a hard word to say. um Now imagine this. In those instances, instead of going it alone, when you have a group of people helping you, when I had, for example, causes, at the college that a lot of people were on board with and wanted, they had a vested interest in seeing the change implemented, then it was a lot easier to get stuff done. And that seems like a really simplified example, but it is just fact that we don't apply to our own lives. And when we think about it in that way, it seems like, well, of course it's easier when you have a group of people around you cheering you on, wanting you to see you succeed, especially if those are women who are like you, have the same kinds of goals, have faced the same kinds of struggles, who have the same idea of what success and happy and healthy looks like. They are not just cheering you on in those instances. They're sharing in your wins. They are spreading around the positivity and the belief in your ability to succeed. They share tips with you. They lend their support to you. They help prop you up when things feel hard. It's like having this built-in team who is with you every step of the way. And it's what I see all the time in our client group. Women who thought they weren't enough get on this journey with us and with other women. We get strategy in place, which you have to have the right strategy. But outside of that, you also have to have that support, that encouragement, that common feeling of we're in this together. When you have that kind of community, which I see in our client group, those women suddenly realize they're a lot stronger and more resilient than they ever knew that they were, because they're surrounded by other women who remind them of their strength all the time, and especially on the days when they forget their strength, right? That daily encouragement adds up. One positive choice then is easier to make, which leads to another one. And before you know it, you're building weeks upon weeks, which turn into months of success. It is that compounding effect that we hear about. Interest is not the only thing that compounds, people. When it has, when it comes to our money, our interest compounds, and we definitely know the impact of that. You have to think about the compounding effect of support and encouragement and small choices that you make on a daily basis. Now, we all have gaps in our journey. That's what I'll call them. That's those moments of stress, the moments of self-doubt, the just plain like life feels too freaking heavy and hard today kind of moments. Well, that is a big place where community comes in. A group of women who, like I mentioned earlier, they share positive ideas, they share, that sentiment that I've been where you are, and I've made it through, and so can you. They share tips with each other, and accountability is huge in these communities. These are the kinds of communities where it's a positive peer pressure. Accountability means, hey, I'm here watching with you. I'm going to make sure that you stay on this path with me. As coaches, we hold you accountable, but the community they hold each other accountable. And it's that accountability that feels good, that you need so that you don't slip back. That kind of accountability, that kind of a community gives you that extra edge, especially when you need it to stay on track. Let me give you a couple of examples. Maybe this will hit home and kind of relate to you. Like, maybe you're struggling to find time to work out, and this happens all the time. And someone in the group, another woman in the group, shares that She didn't feel like working out either. And she just promised herself 10 minutes or 15 minutes of her workout today. And she was like, I made that fit into a pocket of time. Or maybe it's one of those days where you're just like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good enough. You're, you're just kind of, you let a little bit of doubt creep in. We have those days, right? And then another woman posts in that group a win. And that you read that. And what I see happen among our clients is that reminds the women who are struggling on that particular day of what's possible and that everything is figure outable, everything is overcomable, right? Or maybe it's just even knowing that someone else is going through the same thing. I see this all the time too. Women will share a struggle and a challenge, and it's like this idea of this camaraderie. We're all in this struggle together. When you know that someone is having the same kind of struggle that you're having, it can make you feel less alone. And sometimes just feeling less alone is enough to help you get through the struggle. The power of community, it is not just about sharing struggles, it's about sharing solutions too, right? It's the lifting each other up so no one feels like they're in it alone. That is why I really feel like what we do at LDL with our coaching clients is the freaking best solution and way for clients, for women to succeed, because we hold women accountable. We give you the strategy, but then we mix that with this amazing, freaking protected, awesome community of women who share in the struggles and share in the solutions and share in the celebrations, right? And it's the magic of being part of a group like that. It's that positivity is so contagious. When one woman shares a win or a breakthrough, it inspires someone else there to just keep going. It's like, I'm not there yet, but I know what's on the other side of this hill for me because Sarah did it. I know what I'm capable of pushing through because Julie did it. And that ripple effect, that creates such momentum that carries the entire group forward. So it's carrying individuals, but it's carrying the group forward. And so you get this compounded effective momentum too. What starts as a daily choice for women is like choosing to think positively or tackling, a really tough moment with support. It builds over time. And so when you look back, you realize just how far you've actually come. And that's the power in showing up for yourself and letting other people show up for you. So here's my message to you today. You don't have to do this alone. And that's not cliche. Whether it's improving your health, it's rebuilding your mindset, just navigating daily life and the stresses of it, being part of a positive, empowering group can change everything for you. So if this resonated with you, I really hope you'll take a minute to think about what kind of support you have in your life currently and do a little bit of an edit. What kind of support do you need in your life right now? And if you're not part of a community that provides what you need, that's where the edit comes in. Okay. If you're already part of a group like our LDL client group or our total wellness group, then lean into those groups, show up, share your wins, share your struggles too, and let the ripple effect of positivity and encouragement carry you forward. Now, if you want to connect with me because you're not part of those groups and you need that kind of community base in your life, or you want to hear more about like just what can these groups do for you, send me an email, send me a direct message in Instagram or a Facebook private message. And hey, if like, as always, I tell you guys, if you loved this episode, I'd really be grateful if you gave the podcast a 5-star rating, write a quick review, if you can take a minute, but also that helps other women find the podcast and benefit from it, but be the woman who shares this podcast today. I know that you know someone in your life, a friend, a sister, a cousin, a colleague who could benefit from hearing this message about community. So share this space with them. Join in the conversation below, write comments. I love your feedback. And I really appreciate you spending time with me today, as always, because I know there are a million things going on in life, and there are a lot of other places that you could spend 10 or 15 minutes with me, however long I've been talking. So I really appreciate it. And I'll see you right back here next time.